Hello there. Hello. Good evening and welcome to another wonderful edition of our monthly talk show. Um, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that has been supporting this brand, everyone that has been doing everything humanly possible in making sure that everything is perfect. I really appreciate each and every one of you. We are in another season. Um, you know, 2 months ago we had a wonderful session. Last month we had the wonderful session, and this month we're having another wonderful session. So trust me, it's going to be mind blowing. Today is not going to be like the usual topic. As you've seen online and everywhere, we're looking at harnessing the power of failure. So, and trust me, it's going to be a wonderful session. In a season where failure has become something that actually brings people down, how do you maximize the power of failure, no matter what comes your way, no matter the challenges, the ability for you to stand up and rise again makes you who you are. So I will not be doing this alone this evening. I have my very own brother with me tonight. Is somebody that is versatile in different fields. So I posted his profile on our social media handle, and I guess you've seen that. So he's going to be joining me tonight on the show. Trust me, I hope you're ready for what is coming tonight. So tonight is going to be amazing, and tonight we're trusting God that every session we add meaning. When I mean meaning, we add meaning to your life. So as we are handling it spiritually, we are also handling it physically. And trust me, the sky will not only be your limit, it will be your starting point. So I am your host tonight again. Timothy Ehoroha is my name, and I am the host for tonight's show, and I'm also one of the key leaders inside Tim-Osa Media. So please do well to help us like, share, and comment. Please share to your friends. Let them see the amazing work we're doing here tonight. So this evening, join me as I made welcome my very own brother, Mr. Daniel Obio. I hope I got that correctly, Mr. Daniel Obio. So, yeah, join me as a welcome, Mr. Daniel, this evening. Hello, Mr. Daniel. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me clearly?
Clearly, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you so much for having me, sir, team. Thank you so
you,
much.
you're welcome, sir. You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. So, I hope you're ready for us tonight.
Whoa, well, we do what we can do and trust God that people are going to be blessed.
Okay. We know we've seen your work, and we know what God has been using you to do, and the amazing work he's been doing through you. So we are not surprised, and we know tonight is going to be a night of healing people. And I mean healing them from their failure and taking them to where God has desired them to be. That's the essence of our meeting tonight, and that's why we are here tonight. So, viewers, please join me and welcome Mr. Daniel once again. So, Mr. Daniel, please can you I know you sent out your profile, just a brief introduction. Just tell us who you are and what you do so that our viewers will get to know you better.
Okay. Well, um, each time I'm asked who I am and what I do, there are three key things I will always talk about when I identify or try to describe myself, and that's leadership,
Okay.
technology, and productivity.
Mm.
Okay, so you could call it LTP, leadership, technology, and productivity. So I am the guy that is very interested in raising leaders, grooming
Mhm.
leaders, and by God's grace, I've been able to do that a lot more through different platforms such as my leadership organization, Paint Impact Initiative, and beyond that, I run several I help a lot of leadership organizations achieve training for young
Mhm.
people such as Bedrock Initiative and a couple of them out there. Been part of the of several leadership conferences in Nigeria, in Southeast Nigeria, in Nigeria as a whole, such as the ELC of Gotney Leadership Center, and a whole lot. I'm a leadership
Okay.
enthusiast and a leadership trainer and coach. Then the T there has to do with technology. I am the tech guy also. I work as a lecturer in the university. I teach in the Department of Computer Science, Michael Opera University of Agriculture. I
Okay.
raise a whole lot of, I do a whole lot of startup advisory, especially startups that are using tech to build and to scale. AI related stuffs and data analysis and data science. So tech is something I talk about and I preach about, AI especially. And then the P there is productivity. I'm
Okay.
very big on productivity. I
Mm-hmm.
help people go from point A to point B to become more
Mm-hmm.
productive with their lives. And I do this through several expressions, such as the FRAG, Focus Reading Accountability Group, an accountability system I set up 4 years ago, and I've been running for 4 years and have had a lot of persons install the habit of reading daily. And through this productivity angle also, I do a whole lot of public speaking training, um, habit installation classes, strategy sections for businesses
Yeah.
and individuals, and helping people become better versions of themselves. So I think that's the little I can say right now. And more importantly, I'm a lover of God, a Christian to the core, not by religion, but I mean by
Mm,
heart.
mm,
Yes.
mm, mm.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us once again tonight. So, our viewers, hope you've seen that we have the right person for tonight's session. So, uh, trust me, we just have 53 minutes to do this. And through these 53 minutes, we know we are going to be getting a whole lot of testimonies. People are going to be revived. So, no matter how downcasted you are at this time, trust me, you're going to rise up and start chasing your dream. So we'll get started, Mr. Daniel. To you, Mr. Daniel, what is failure to you? I want us to be more practical. Let's see how to share life experiences so that people can actually learn, so that they will know that even a lecturer has once failed as well. So what is failure to you, Mr. Daniel?
Can you give me just less than 1 minute? I need to turn down the volume of my telly in the sitting room here. Let
Oh,
me
no
just
worries.
turn it
That's
down.
fine. That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
So the media team. So if you can just, yeah, thank you very much, media team. So, our viewers, once again, thank you for joining us. And trust me, it's going to be amazing this evening. Mr. Daniel is power packed. He's ready and is willing to unleash what he has inside of him to each and every one of us. So this topic did not just come from the blues. No, it came as a result of series of prayers, and him being choosing to handle a topic like this is as a result of a due consultation and also prayerfully choosing the right person. So yes, our speaker is back tonight. Welcome back, Mr. Daniel. So let's get
Thank you
started.
so much.
What is failure
Okay.
to you? So you as an
Okay.
individual, what is failure?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So guys, this is not fanfare and this is not just conversation. This is not just a motivation series as usual. This is real truth section. And honestly, I'm going to be sharing as clear as it is from my heart, not from something I've read from somewhere, but from things I've experienced and from my experience and experiences of people who have been so close to me as mentees, as my bosses. Oh, this is Nigeria. Sorry about that. Um, and all that. So you just bear with me. Let me see how I can get that sorted out. But
Okay,
they're
no
gonna
worries. That's
restore the
fine.
light very soon. Yeah. So like I was saying, failure does not have a particular definition if I want to go that way, because the way people define failure is not necessarily what failure is. So to
Mhm,
several persons, failure is not being able to achieve what you wanted to achieve. And people now get
mhm,
to say that you are a failure. There's a difference between failing and being a failure. For
mhm,
me,
yeah.
nobody is a failure. Get me clearly. For me, nobody is a failure. You can only achieve the status of failure when you no longer try, but more importantly, when you die. Because it's when
Mm,
you die that you lose the capacity to try again later,
to try
to try
again.
again, right? So long as you still have oxygen, O2, Chemistry students get that, right? So long as you have the ability to breathe in oxygen and breathe out oxygen, carbon dioxide, the truth is this: you are not a failure. So labeling someone a failure is unjust and untrue if the person still is alive, because the person you label the failure can, at the point when you've looked away from the person, achieve that particular thing. So I think failure is an identity that can only come and be placed on a person when the person has died unfulfilled, not necessarily when the
mm,
person died fulfilled,
mm,
right? So, and this is true because what we call failure is actually failed attempts. It's actually opportunities of learning and expressions of our inadequacies, especially when it comes to our knowledge.
mm,
There are knowledge gaps that exist within us that we do not necessarily identify, and we prematurely got exposed and we fell short of the ability to achieve those things. So falling
mm,
short of the ability to achieve what you've set in mind to achieve does not make you a failure. It only
mhm,
makes you one who has had a failed attempt, right? So we must be very specific about understanding that there's a difference between being a failure and having failed attempts. A failure is someone who have
mm.
died unfulfilled. It's someone who was not able to achieve all the dreams and you have died. It's not someone that has the ability to go back and someone that has the ability to do it again. Because it's not, it's something close to that is refusing to try again. So you say someone is
Mhm,
a failure when the person has refused to try again. So that is like someone has died that, like, it may not be a natural death of closing your eyes to die, but you have
mhm.
died that idea, you have buried that idea with a decision never to come back to it again, yet it was unfulfilled. That's where we can
Mm,
say, oh, this person has failed. But in a very large spectrum of it is when you have died. Why did I say so? Because even that idea you think you've died, something can just come up tomorrow and you find a different way about it again. You resurrect it again. So you are not a failure. You're now renouncing on your failed attempts and building on it and becoming a better version. So the best time to say
mm,
you're a failure, one is a failure, is if that person has the
mm.
person has died, has cool, and he cannot do anything again. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that awesome answer. I know it's our audience, they're already getting it hot, hot. So, from your own perspective, as a lecturer, you are a mentor to a lot of mentees. So, why do you think people fear failure so much? And how are we able to change this mindset of failure?
Yeah, people fear failure because of the stigma that comes
Mm,
with failure.
mm,
Guys, permit us to keep using the word failure here, regardless of the fact that I've given you a different definition of that. But let's
yeah.
just use the word failure here within the context of what society has normalized failure to mean, okay? Where people are
Yeah.
having failed attempts and all that. But we understand now that it's a different thing. So people fear failed attempts or having failed attempts or experiencing failed attempts because of the stigma that comes with failed attempts. And this stigma is real in the society. And so you
Mm,
see people not wanting to do things. You see people not wanting to go the extra mile. You see people not wanting to try out new things. You see people saying, I cannot do this. I'm not sure it's going to be possible. I don't know what is going to be the outcome of this. I'm scared. People are scared of failure or failing because of the stigma that comes with it. How people look down on you and say, he has failed in this. He does not, he can never fail, he can never make it in life again, and all that. That's one. Number two, people fear failure because of their inability to learn from it and how it has
mhm,
affected several other perspectives of their lives. Okay.
mm,
So you have a failed attempt in mathematics, and because of your failed attempt in mathematics, you're scared that it means you don't have the ability to do science. So you are
mm,
scared of failing in science and you don't venture into science. So you see, the failed attempt at mathematics has influenced your fear of failing in science, hence
mm.
making you not to try to practice science. So we see
Fine.
the issues of stigmatization that comes with it. We see the issue of previous failed attempts and your inability to learn from that stuff. But number three, People also fear failure because they've not understood or had this kind of conversation about the imperative of failure, of
Mm.
failing, how important failing is in the grand scheme of things, and how it has a way to beautify success, to solidify your efforts, and to reintegrate within you significant knowledge that can grant or bet sustainable outcomes, sustainable results, and successful experiences. So these are three reasons why I've seen a lot of people are scared of failing. Like, I mean, I've been there, but I've been scared of doing some of the things I later did because I was scared I
Yes.
may fail it because I failed this some time ago, right? But from time to time, I've now gotten to the point where I sit myself down and say, guy, this is not failure. It was just a failed attempt, and there's a different way to look at it. So the second question you ask is, how can that mindset be changed?
Be changed. Yeah.
That mindset can be changed, first of all, by an understanding. If you understand and you're showing up for this kind of event, means you're interested in knowing how things work and what it
Mm.
really is. So you're being in this kind of event is one way to change that mindset. Number two,
Mm.
it's definition. You see, most problems we have in life is not being able to understand the real definition of things. Today, I had a conversation with one of my mentees. He was talking about, now, let's do this thing immediately. Let's do this thing now. I asked him, what is the definition of immediately? He said, now. I said, no, that's not the definition of immediately. That's just an analogy. That's a synonym of immediately. When we start understanding the definition of things, it affects our perception and how we see it.
Absolutely.
Because
Mhm.
society is very, very powerful in repainting narratives and creating stereotypes, such that when you just go with contextual meanings and what society has defined things to be, you will not get the real
Mhm.
meaning for yourself. And you are likely just going to run along with that kind of stuff. So, if you want to change narratives, if you want to change your mindset, you must understand empowering beliefs and empowering definitions that affect your psyche. The power of definition is this: when you have the right definition of things, you understand it from the root word. When you understand it from the root word, you have a deeper sitting within your mindset about what these things truly mean and how to
Mm.
attack them.
Mm.
The day
Mm.
I understood immediately to mean a time being that is characterized by the presence or the absence of a later, it changed how I saw the world immediately.
Mm.
So it means every time I want to think about immediately, it means it's a time being and is characterized by the absence of a later. So anytime I say something is to be done immediately, that understanding tells me never procrastinate what you say should be done immediately. So you see how
Okay.
understanding definition affects our situation, our mindset, and our efforts, and our characterization of things and how we do things. So the same thing happens when you understand that failing is not fatal, that success itself either is not final, but that failing helps you to identify knowledge gaps. You would appreciate failed attempts, and you would
Mhm.
rather ask yourself, not why did I fail, or am I a failure? No, you start asking yourself, what was I meant to learn from this?
Mm.
I'll share a personal experience. When I wrote JAMB, if in Nigerian here, you know JAMB. JAMB is the exam you have to write before you get into the university in Nigeria, right? When I wrote JAMB, I had a very poor result, unexpectedly poor. Like it broke my heart. It broke my heart, right? Because I saw myself doing far better than that. In fact,
Mhm.
after my JAMB, when we came back with our whole, because that time was shading and all that.
Okay. Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
came back to school on Monday morning, my classmates looked at what I have shaded, all I ticked that I shaded and all that. Guy, my result is supposed to be around the neighborhood of 340, 360, 340. Honestly, God, I beg. When the result came out, I got a 199.
Mm.
How do you explain someone who was expected to get a 300 and above based on his performance is getting a 199? I felt bad, but I was scared that I was even
Absolutely.
going to get worse than that. Why? What helped me was this: I was able to re-examine what happened. That was when I identified a significant mistake I made during my writing of the JAMB, where they had question one, what color is your type? What's your type color? I went and shaded purple for the 4 subjects because the first one was purple. And where they stapled the color for maths and English and every other one was exactly where they stapled, like that place they wrote the color. That was where they stapled it. So as I just saw purple, I felt everything is purple. Nobody gave me that orientation that all other ones have different colors. So you know
Yes,
what that
yes.
meant? I answered very well, but when they are marking, they use purple scheme, a marking scheme to mark the 4 of them. While one was purple, one was red, one was green, one was yellow. Do you get? So my ignorance had set me up for failing, not failure. And I could have kept crying over that spilled milk and maybe wanted to sue JAMB if I never knew that I failed that experience, that exam, because of a knowledge gap. So what did that help me do? That identification of that particular experience helped me to become more deliberate. When I went to write my post-UME, I was very intentional. I did not make that kind of mistake. Every other exam I've written since then till tomorrow, I'm careful about number 1 question. I'm careful about every single question and the questions and the instructions in that stuff. I could do this because I was able to critically re-examine what caused the failed attempt. So if you're going to have a change in mindset of how you see failure and you're scared of failure, you must start having the ability to understand what failed attempts is, first of all, and what you should learn from your failed attempts. When you start doing these things, your mindset will change because you judge things from your lens of understanding and also from the positioning of your exposure. The lens of your understanding and the positioning of your mind by virtue of exposure. So these are the ways to deal with that kind of mind. Change your circle if you have to. Be in the midst of people who have failed attempts and you see how they are thinking and you see that it's not a bad thing to fail actually. And all those things will change your perspective, change your outcomes, and make you a better version of yourself. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. I know it's been a wonderful session, and we are trying to watch the time as well. So personally, I had similar experiences as yourself. I had there were times I think I wrote my SSC exam 4 times, and
Wow.
in fact I kept having issues with mathematics and literature. So I wrote again, just like that. At the point, the advice started coming gradually. You know, it's not everybody that are meant to go to school actually. So you can just learn you can just learn something. And I'm like, okay,
I know that.
I think that's a good idea. In fact, I was that's in fact so imagine somebody that was feeling like a failure. You are helping the person to 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 bring the failure more. Like at that point, I had to learn how to repair laptops. I went into laptop repair and I was doing it, enjoying it. But it got to a point, I told myself, I said, no, I'm following the wrong path because I was the only person that have not gone to school in my family. So I just needed to put 1 or 2 things right. And I was able to even get admission to a polytechnic. So, but I'm not the one sharing my story here tonight, but to cut the long story short, since I entered the polytechnic, it's been years down the line, and today I'm a master's degree holder. I'm hoping to get into my doctorate soonest. So you see, it was because I was able to change my league of friends. I changed my friends, I changed my mentality, and today there is nothing that I cannot venture in. Anything at all. Anything. As far as I can put my mind into it, my wife knows I must surely get it. So it is one thing that will really help each and every one of us. So over to you, Mr. Daniel. How do you think, I'm talking about you personally now, how do you think people can practically turn failure into stepping stone for growth?
Okay, that's very interesting and a practical question. How do I think people can turn failures into stepping stones for growth? It's very, very easy. to turn it. And this is why I say it's easy,
mm,
because it starts with understanding, first of all, that it is possible. Once you've
mm,
understood that it's possible, then every other thing I'm going to tell you now would be able to, you would see the possibility and you'll work in
yeah.
it. So first of all, believe it's possible, that your failed attempts are stepping stones for growth. Take for instance someone like we heard about Faraday, and how many times he tried in
Yeah.
order to push out electric bulbs, how much he failed, but he finally did that because he kept on trying. So how do I think it's possible to do this? Number one is to fail forward. Okay, is
Mm,
to fail forward. When we talk about failing forward, we mean failing with a mindset of learning and willingness to try again. That's failing
mm,
forward. So when you fail forward, you're failing in the process of learning, and you're learning why you failed. That is
mm,
failing forward. So you will not become successful from failure if you don't learn what made you fail. Because the difference between success and failing is actually your the knowledge that was missing or the knowledge that is present. There is a
mm,
presence of knowledge that would make you become successful. There is a present or absence of knowledge that will make you have a failed attempt. So one key thing, one practical way you would be able to effectively succeed or make your failure a stepping stone to success is by understanding the imperative of failure and learning from your failures. So every time you have a failed attempt, sit down and cry. When I say cry, what do I mean by
mm,
crying? I mean critically re-examine yourself. CRY. Critically
mm.
re-examine yourself. If you learn to cry, you'll be able to live an examined life. Remember, an unexamined life is not worth living. So when
Living.
you learn to critically re-examine what has happened and why did this happen, you'll be able to understand that there were probably knowledge gaps, or not just knowledge gaps. There was pride somewhere there that made you not to
Mhm.
do what you know you should do,
You're
because
supposed
you
to, yeah,
just felt
you're
like, I
supposed
mean, I don't
to.
have to do these things, right? So sometimes it's knowledge
Mhm.
gap. Sometimes it's not that you don't have the knowledge, it is that you have pride. Although it's still the same knowledge gap, because I mean, if you have pride and you know that you have pride, and you know the effect of pride, and you refuse to work on that, you are still having a knowledge gap of how much that is going to cost you. So it's just there's a higher level of your knowledge gap there, and that's very wicked. That's wickedness to yourself. So we must learn to do that. Number two thing, that is practical way to turn your failure to success as a stepping stone for your success is think about other people and read about other people who have had the same failed experience, and how they were able to have a strategy, a comeback, in order to become successful. Why is it important to think about others and read or learn from others? The reason is this: it helps you to avoid needless scars. There are scars you've
Mm,
already gotten by virtue of the failed experiences, and you're likely to get again, because what you have learned may not necessarily be everything you need to learn. But when you now look at some other persons that had failed, had succeeded by learning from their failures, you are going to know what you now have learned, what you should have also learned that you did not even learn,
yes.
right? So that knowledge would be more richer than when you just did the x-ray for yourself, but you also learn from somebody else's experience. My father has always taught me, or reminded me, the Bible passage that lets us understand that there is wisdom in multitude of counsel, there's safety in multitude of counsel, and that would definitely help you. Number three thing that's going to help you practically is to try again. I mean, you're gonna want you want to suck at the pains of not being successful. That's because you're human, and it's fine. Our chemistry will want to make us cry, think, and all that, but don't overthink it. Shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
If it has happened, it has happened. You can change it, you
Happening.
can correct it. You understand what you can correct and what you cannot correct, and tell yourself, I'm gonna try again, right? You must be willing to climb the try again ladder. You must be willing to patronize it yet again and tell yourself, I'm going to go again. But listen, it's stupidity going again in the same direction. It's
Mm,
wickedness going again with this in the same direction without changing anything. But this time around, when you try again with the new knowledge and lessons you have learned. Try again
mm,
with the new insights you have gotten. and try again with the new experiences and with faith that yes, I'm still worth it. My dreams are valid. I may have made a mistake or a mess in this other time. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be able to do better again. Okay. Number four, I would always not fail to talk about this. Reach out to mentors. There are mentors who may not have necessarily gone to have made that mistake or gone through those difficult times like yourself, but they have an understanding of what it takes. They know the likely corners,
Mhm.
bends, roadblocks, gallops, and bumps on that road and that trajectory you're taking. So that's where the place of mentorship is very strong and powerful. When you've had failed attempts, be willing to try again, but try again better now. Try again with wisdom, with insight, and with guidance from mentors. It would help you a whole lot and help you to stand on their shoulders and not to make significant mistakes on
Mm.
your path to your life. But number five, and the last I would have to share in at this particular point, is to think and talk to God. Talk to God. Don't look at it as just it's just a mistake, it's just a mess. No, 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 no. There's a message in the mess, right?
Mhm.
The right person that understands the direction of your life, that see, get this clearly. The mistakes you make, somebody else may make it, and it's not going to be a mistake because our paths are different. It's
Mhm.
a mistake. That means there is a stake that was missed. Get it? There's a stake in your life that you should get, but when you eat a mistake, it means you missed that stake. In somebody else's life, that direction you threw that arrow to could be a right stake and not a mistake.
Mm.
So that's why you
Mm.
don't just depend only on people's advice in trying again, but you must have to also depend on God, because there is something you're probably not seeing. Everybody around you is not seeing. People around you are not seeing, and you will not get until you get back to the one who has written the blueprint of your life, who
Mm.
understands your future, who understands your journey, and who has the ability to correct your mistakes. So while you do all these things, you must prioritize and involve God in trying to start again, because that's the right way to start, and that's the way to avoid running 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that concise answer. So I know our audience, they have questions and they want to ask questions. Please, media team, you can just be piling up the questions so that when it's time for question and answer, we'll pop it up so that our speaker can assist us to really deal with that tonight. So we are going personal now, Mr. Daniel. So can you briefly share with us any time at all in your journey that you have failed and that failure turned to be a major success in your life? Can you remember any time or any moment in your life where probably you failed, but you challenged yourself and you were able to turn that into a major turning point in your life?
Yeah, I can. I remember very well. In 2014, ending of 2014, I had to I applied to, while I was in the university then. I applied to attend the World Universities Debating Championship in Malaysia, and
Mm.
it was such that I needed to apply to get a scholarship sponsored. So me and my team, I had to make the application for my team and all that. So we made the applications, we got the scholarship. Beautiful. So they were taking care of our registration for the tournament and our flight itinerary and all that. And it was a beautiful one. And I really thank God for that privilege. 2 days to departure, I got a mail that the sponsors that are responsible for that package pulled out for whatever reason, I don't
Mm.
know. So it meant that we are no longer going to be sponsored and we will no longer be able to um go to Malaysia. And you know what it meant? 2 days to God, I beg. I and my friends, we already in Abuja, and we are all disappointed, and we're thinking of what we're gonna do. Do we just give up on this? Because at this point, it was a failed attempt, right? Because we had
Mhm.
tried to get something, and it did not work out as much as we had expected. You walked out and then suddenly crashed. It's more like a love letter was sent. I mean, love letters are failed attempts, right?
Yeah.
And then we are like, okay, what are we going to do? We had to do a whole lot of running around. And this is one lesson you're going to understand. When you've got a failed attempt, don't just cringe and don't just cry over spilled milk, right? Ask yourself, what else can I do to improve the quality of my availability of my next attempt, and what are the alternatives that I can utilize to still get the desires I want. I'm going to come something, remind me, I'm going to talk about something as it relates to career choice and all that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So at the end of it all, God being so merciful, we were able to raise sponsorship by virtue of the efforts we made and calls. I mean, if I tell you the places I entered that period, you know that when you're failing and you sit down, you would not achieve nothing. But when you're
Nothing.
failing
Yeah.
and you stand up and say, I'm not going to sulk at this, I'm going to take the right step and the next available steps, you're going to make it. Like it took me to the House of the Senate president as at that time, and several other persons, because we really wanted to raise finance to still be at Malaysia. Long story cut short, we got to Malaysia, we got sponsored, we got some funding, we would travel to Malaysia, and now we went. When we went, 3 rounds of debates has already been done. So we've missed the first full day, and then I
Mm.
had a jet lag. Jet lag made me, I was almost missing the first round on the second day I arrived. So it means I was going to miss like 4 rounds. Okay. So
Mm.
this was another issue. But guys, I told myself, no, whatever is there, I was going to make it. I had to rush down, figured my way down to the place, and I got there. Now, I didn't make it in the debating segment of the tournament. It was almost like a failed attempt. You went to Malaysia and you didn't even break. You didn't get to the quarters. It's a tournament of like 900 teams from different schools in the world. But I mean, you
Mm.
feel you failed because you didn't get to meet up at that,
Yeah.
right? Well, what did I do? I told myself, no, I'm not going to let this to dampen my heart. I'm going to pick up this and ask myself, what's the opportunity? Then there was the public speaking tournament started. Now, what did I do? Guys, get it clear. Do you know, I took the story of my failure and pains and frustration, I weaved it into a very wonderful speech, and then I presented it at the public speaking round, and it got me a place in the finals. So
Mm.
while I had a failed attempt in the debate stream because of all the circumstances I could not control, I told myself, I'm not a failure. There is a lot more that can still come out of me and the alternatives I can give. So I made sure I put in for the other stream. And by the time I put in for the other stream, guess what? I made it to the finals. And not only did I make it to the finals, I was the second best in the world.
Mm.
People from Harvard and every place you can imagine contested. So the question is, what if I cried over the failed attempts in debate? Because many people refuse to do the public speaking because they felt, I mean, I can never. In fact, I had people who refused to go to the break night because they felt nothing good can come out of Nigerians. Let's go and party, let's go and drink, let's go and have fun and flex, right? But something within me just said, guy, just go there and celebrate with others. You're not a failure. The fact that you didn't make it up to this point doesn't mean you're a failure. And there and then I had my name, Obi or Daniel. They murdered the name, but I found out it was my name and I was at the final, right? So you see, there was a failed attempt, but there was a
Yeah.
willingness to still push. And then I asked myself, since I've been able to get to the final, what am I going to do? I spent time to pray and I trusted God. He gave me the winning speech, the speech I gave. And then it didn't get me best, but at least it gave me second best in the world. And that was beautiful because she showed me that regardless of the challenges I had gone through and failed attempts, I can use those springboards. See how I layered the story of the failed attempt to go as a story that brought me into the tournament and got me to the finals. And then I now weaved several other failed attempts around me in the finals that still became beautiful and an amazing one that got me to be the second best in the world.
Mm.
So failure is something I have seen, or failed attempts is something I have seen, just like I shared about my getting admission and jump and all that. I later gained admission that same year with the 199 that I felt nothing was going to happen because I took up that failed 199 stuff when I now did my post UTME. Post UTME was 360. 360. Like, I mean, when somebody now has the 360, even when he has the 199 and he's praying and trusting God, what do you think is going to happen? It was on merit list, number 5 or
Absolutely.
thereabout. And it's not just by my power, by God, yes, but because I saw the failed attempts, I reconstructed it and I learned from it. I looked for the alternatives. I put in the energy and said, I'm not a failure. I'm not defined by my inabilities. My inabilities recommend to me the possibilities in me and the
Mm.
knowledge gap I need to fill, such that I became a better version of myself. So I think that's just part of the plenty, and I think that helps in answering that question.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a bit of reconstructing a question related to what you just said. So, in being able to achieve that height, were there specific mindsets that you had? Were there specific things that you put in place for you to get to that particular ladder? Because there might be viewers that are here now that probably they are almost feeling like as if, oh, they have failed and they are just at a crossroad. So are there mindset that they need to have for them to get to that top of the ladder?
Yeah, mindset is key. Mindset is everything. Everything is a thing of the mind. One of the mindset I had that helped me to do all those things is the mindset that I am not a failure. Number
Mm,
one, see, listen, guys. I'm thinking of the best way to do this, guys. Okay, listen. God did not create a failure.
mm,
I'll say it again. God, the world had over 100 million people in it, over 1 billion people in it, 2 billion people in it, 3 billion people in it, and maybe 4, 5, 6 billion people in it. And God still intentionally decided to sit down and craft you and send you to this world. Hey, God, I beg. Like, he can't be stupid to decide to create a failure to add to
mm,
6 billion people existing already. That's the
mm,
identity. That's the identity. That's part of what drives me, right? When I read passages like Romans chapter 8, verses 19, that says that the earnest expectation of the creature awaits the manifestation of the sons of God, it tells me the world is waiting for my manifestation. So even if I'm having failed attempts, they are still waiting for my excellent manifestation, because I was
mhm,
created to manifest. So failed attempts should not get me to the ground and make me not to stand again. I should dust my butt and ask myself, what more can I do to fulfill that purpose God has placed in me? So my identity in Christ, my understanding of God's intentionality in creating me and adding me to this space, this cosmos called Earth, makes me understand that I still have the ability to succeed after I've
mhm,
had failed experiences. So it tells me that I should just go and seek God's face, and He has the ability to help me and to give me an edge. Number two thing that also helped me, mindset, or a mindset I have that inspires my choice to try again, is when I ask the question: the persons achieving success, what do they have differently that I don't have and I can never have in life?
mm,
I figured out that there is nothing they have that I can never have. There are things they have that I may not have. My not having is not because I can't have them, but it's because I've probably not seen them, seen those things, been exposed to those things. I've not worked towards those things, but it's not a thing that I can never have. They may have knowledge. I don't have the knowledge, but I can have that knowledge. They may have money. I don't have the money, but I can have the money. They may have people. I don't have the people now, but I can have the people. So if the possibility of having those things exists, my responsibility is to gravitate towards having those things prayerfully and intentionally. And I find myself becoming those things. So this mindset helped me not to sulk at failure, but to keep pushing and to keep trusting. And guys, praying to God is one of the key things.
mm,
When I have failed attempts, I remind God that He is not a failure, so I'm not permitted to fail because I am an expression of Him. You've not seen God before with your full eyes, right? But see this person that is talking now, he's an expression of God.
mm,
If the world has 7 billion people in it, each person you're seeing is an expression of God. So that's more like 7 billion expressions of God. I wonder why you, one of the expressions of God, has chosen failure and chosen to remain in mediocre. It's unfair
mm,
to God. It's unfair to who He has made you. It's unfair to the possibilities that lie within you. It's unfair to what He can make of you, because everything He made is beautiful, is good, is amazing. Our challenge sometimes, or most times, is just that we've not brought out the amazingness of God that lies within us. So don't let your failures define you. Rather, be defined by the original script of your life and the intention of the Creator when He created you. That way, you will not see your failed attempts as reasons to sulk or remain down, but as reasons to learn better, do better, and represent God. I mean, He is a big dad. He's an amazing father. He loves you so much, and success and excellence can stem from you too.
mm, mm. Wow, 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 wow. So, there are a lot of things going on within me right now. A lot of things that probably I've pushed to one side. I need to go and bring them back. So, Mr. Daniel, I'm just thinking the right way to ask this question. Don't you think that failure is a way of God telling you that you are on the wrong path? Is that
That's
is
it.
that is that yeah? So is that
Yeah.
like is that phrase, is it true that okay, because I failed, it means that's God trying to tell me that I'm on the wrong path?
Um,
It can, sorry, sir,
I
it
would
can
say,
either be professionally, it can either be on the wrong path professionally or on the wrong path in marriage or something. So do you think that failing at that time is a way of God telling you that, oh, brother, sister, my daughter, my son, you're on the wrong path?
I would say yes and no,
Okay.
because we can't ascribe everything to God. If we choose to ascribe everything to God, then we'll be losing our identity and the power of choice He has given to us. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, there are times when it is God telling you, hey, son, this is not where I want you to be. There is a better place I want you to be. And those times you would definitely know. So, I usually tell people sometimes we fail because we don't involve God, we inform God. There are two different things. When you inform God, you're not involving Him. You're just like, God, this is where I'm going to. I'm going here. I'm just saying, I just say, make I tell you, make you know side they go this side. It's not should I go or should I not go. That's you informing God. But if you want to involve God, you're more like God. See, what do you think about this? These are the decisions that are before me, and I'm thinking this or this. What do you think is the best for this phase of my life? And then that point you get His guidance and His leading, and then you follow that part. When you fail in that part, you cannot say God is telling you that's not where I want you to be. The reason why you fail in that part God has told you, or you have some failed attempts in that part where God has told you go, it's not because God is using that to tell you that's not where I wanted you to be. I mean, that would mean God confusing you and being an author
Mm-hmm.
of confusion, which not. It's rather it's the other side to failing. And that is where failing comes as a result of our knowledge gaps. So God may have told you, my son, go to the United States of America and become the president of America. And then you've run to and you start running to America and you go to US embassy. They ask you, why do you want to go to America? You go there and tell them, I want to become the president of America.
Visa denied. Bam.
The way they would deny your visa. Are we joking here? The way they would deny your visa. That's when you know that wisdom is profitable to direct, right? That the fact that God says you should go doesn't mean you should go stupidly or you should go foolishly
Mm,
without finding out the directives and the right ways and the knowledge gaps you have, right? So failure is not necessarily always God telling you you're on the wrong path. It could also be you not paying attention to details. It could be
mm,
you not learning all the things you need to learn. And just, I was in a business meeting today, my community, we have a very big thriving community, 5th anniversary, and someone said something today in the panel section. He says, when you get to a table immatured, you are likely going to be the one that will be serving people at that table. So it's more like you jumped into where you're not supposed to be at times. That's why he says, write the vision, make it plain. So he that reads it will run. It doesn't say just start pursuing the vision immediately like that. There's a time when it will make sense and it's the right time to execute. If you start executing when it's not time to execute, you would have scars, needless scars. It's not because God didn't give the vision, he gave the vision, but because you didn't see direction on when to execute. So that knowledge gap is a very big deal in failing, right? A lot. If you don't do things the right way at the right time, you are likely going to have failed attempts. People get to find themselves running 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction because they were craving for speed without direction. So that's another reason why people fail. Not necessarily because God did not tell them to go. God has said go, but they did not ask which direction. So they had go and they're running, and then they are running in the opposite direction. It's not because God is telling them, I did not say you should go. It's because they did not stay also to ask which direction, or even when he has told them to start going, they lost him at some point, and they lost his voice at some point, and they just started to now do things on their own at some point, or they started being proud of what they've had, forgetting that there's a lot more to learn, or they stopped learning. When you stop learning, you start dying. And when you start dying, you start making silly mistakes and needless mistakes. And the reason why you keep failing is because you keep doing the same thing, repeating the same thing, the same way, even when you're failing and you're not learning from those things. You see, it's not just always God telling you, this is not where you should go. Sometimes it's God telling you, oh, this is not where I want you to go. But several other times it is you not knowing all you need to know, or having knowledge gaps that you can fill. And once you're able to fill those things, you'll be able to continue on those paths. So let's take, for instance, you're a professional and you're having some failed attempts, you're not being promoted, you're writing promotion interviews and you're not making progress and all that. It's not because God that told you to go into that job did not mean it when he said you should go. But how are you treating your boss? How loyal are you? How hardworking are you? Are you still competent? Is your skill not obsolete? Are you still having the necessary transferable skills? I mean, there are skills that keeps you at a particular level. Are you gunning for management skills, or are you still in operational skills and you're expecting to step into managerial levels? And when you're not passing managerial opportunities, you think God is telling you to leave that place. No, you need to be discerning again about how you're doing and how intentional you are about every other thing. He says he's going to give unto us all that pertains to life and godliness. Many people run after only what pertains to godliness, and they forget that there's also things that pertain to life. Have the sense. Speaking in tongues will not bring you promotion. Okay? Yes, it's your excellence that will give you promotion. But your speaking in tongues will not protect you from the schisms and manipulations of the wicked ones to uproot you from where God has destined for you. But guy, what will keep you there and give you access there is your skill, your competence, not your tongues. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that wonderful answer. So we have quite a number of a question that we're supposed to still be asking, but I know that our viewers, they have a lot of questions as well. So the media team, if you can, please, if there are questions, just start displaying them so that we do justice to some of those questions that is being asked, because I know we already, okay. The first question is, what keeps you moving forward during hard times?
What keeps me moving forward?
Brother Jikolo. Yeah.
Okay. What keeps me moving forward during hard times is that if I give up, that's when I failed. Yeah. If I give up, that's when I failed. I don't fail when I keep trying or when I have failed attempts. I fail when I've given up. So, and that's one. Number two is because there's another understanding I have about life. Okay, guys. So this is a little about me. People close to me understand this. I'm this guy that usually have conversations with myself. Having conversations with myself helps to solidify my convictions and strengthen me to do some things I do. Okay, so you can't easily talk me out of something when I have had a personal conversation with myself and I have decided that this is what I'm going to do.
Mm.
If you're going to talk to me and talk me out of something, I'm going to subject it to a personal conversation with myself. So tomorrow I don't say I did this because somebody told me to stop doing it. Also, I have strong conviction about that stuff. So we must learn to build personal convictions so that we don't do things because of people, but we do things because we believe in them.
Yeah.
And that thing that helps me, keeps me going at tough times, is to understand my why. That's the language what I just said. Once I understand why I've chosen to do this, it will be hard to get me out of that stuff because I know my why. So far, my why has not been achieved. I keep at it and make sure I achieve it. And that thing that keeps me going when it's tough is because I have also come to understand that tough times never last, but tough people do. So I've seen the sinusoidal graph. I'm a science student, and I think it's important that whether you're a science student here or you're not a science student, understand science. Tell your neighbor, understand science. Even if you are an art student or a business student. My name is Daniel. Though. I'm going to always share from the place of the Daniel story and all that. If you go back to Daniel chapter 1, from verses 3, 4, 5 downwards, when they talked about the criteria, the job description, the requirements of those that we are going to attend the school of Babylon, the school of the royals. You see there, understanding science. It is there. Whether you are going into political knowledge or whatever, understanding science. I mean, this is not necessarily trying to just be biased because I'm a science student, but whatever that science they wrote there means, understand science, and life is going to be very easy for you, at least the basics. So there's a sinusoidal graph in life. So it tells you there are ups, there are downs, there are ups, there are downs, there are ups. So when I'm down, if I give up, waiting's up. Like if I give up when I'm down, how can I get up? So the knowledge of the truth, that real life experience is sinusoidal and never straight, helps me not to give up. I remember at those times that, hey, I feel be down today, but tomorrow I'ma get up. That being down is getting the motivation and the strength to go up. That every tough time is a time to build my resilience and grit for a new height I am trying to attain. So these conversations, this mindset, this knowledge is what keeps me at those tough times. Trust me, I've got a tough times. I've had tough times. But the goal, the end goal, the why, the knowledge of the availability and the possibility of a top, and the knowing that it's from down that you go up. You don't go up from up. You go up from down. These are things that keep me going at such tough times. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that explicit answer. So we have a second question here from Osiwe 1980. Sorry, I have another screen here, so that's why you see me looking this way. So he said, how true is the statement that says to make a mistake is never a mistake, but to keep repeating it is dangerous?
Oh, yeah. A mistake, a lot of motivational speakers come up with a lot of things to help you. My brother, my sister, mistake is mistake. You take something, you miss something, a mistake. Whether you repeat it or you don't repeat it, the first one is a mistake. The second one is still a mistake. But when it has become repeated, it is no longer a mistake. It is just a sign of foolishness and unwillingness to learn. Okay? So making a mistake is a mistake. Let's not overflog English. English is clear. Sometimes people just want to bobo you with English, right? But if it's a mistake, it's a mistake. It's just like a disappointment. I mean, a disappointment is a distant appointment. The distraction is a distant attraction. Something is attracting you from the distance. That is what it is. Do you get? So understand it in very clear terms. A mistake is a mistake. I staked to get to this point and I did not get it. I staked to do this thing this way and I was not able to do it. I was supposed to write in straight line. I wrote in curvy lines. It's a mistake. I was supposed to write your phone number. I wrote your account number. It is a mistake. The mistake is the thing you intended and then you missed doing what you intended. English is not hard. Let's not make it tough. That's the reality. But yeah, that's the reality. So, but we should not repeat mistakes, because when you now repeat mistakes, it shows you have not learned, right? It shows you don't pay attention to details. It's no longer coincidence. It shows that you're significantly unwilling to improve yourself, and you shouldn't be at that point. So identify the mistakes and correct it and have the real deal that you expect. That is how growth is achieved. You don't achieve growth in continuous mistakes. No, on the same thing. You achieve growth when you're having failed attempts that you're learning from, such that what you failed next is different from what you failed last. If what you failed next is different from what you failed last, it means you've learned and you're making progress. And that's a healthy failing. So fail forward, fail early, but don't fail repeatedly on the same thing. That's unfair to your growth. You're smarter than that.
Thank you very much once again. I think this person is a science student. Is it Theosis Kusina? He said second best. So she's asking it second best in the world. Yes, you heard him right. Second best. We still have other questions, but I am thinking. I know you're a very busy person, but okay. This also is just coming now. So let's media team, let's this be the last question for tonight. This is coming in from Hugo Amani. He said, in your experience, how can individuals distinguish between a failure that is a valuable learning opportunity and one that signals a need to fundamentally change direction? Mr. Dana, are you there? Hopefully network is not happening to us at this time. Oh, are you there, Mr. Daniel? Oh, hopefully, yeah, I know that the network was a bit bad, but yeah, Nigeria is always Nigeria. So let's see if he's going to come back in a few minutes, and we just take that last question, and that is all done for tonight. I want to say thank you to all our viewers. Please, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do well to subscribe. We value you and we want to keep you. So share to others as well, like the post, and that will help increase the views and everything, so that people as well can have access to that same post. But if we are unable to get back Mr. Daniel tonight, our media team, if he around, let's check if he's around. If not, we might just want to have Harnessing the Power of Failure Season 2. We are going to look at that. There are other areas we need to look at. There are a lot of questions we have here that we could not deal with tonight. So we're looking to have a Season 2 of this Harnessing the Power of Failure. So I'm going to speak to the speaker. Is fully loaded and ready to deliver. So he's going to come out with a different angle entirely, and we are going to pour it out to our viewers. So once again, I want to say thank you to each and everyone. Our speaker has been amazing. In fact, when it was exactly 1 hour, he probably the network happened and he cut off. So that's not a mistake at all. So let's hope and trust that next time is going to come back and do amazing things. Thank you very much for all our viewers today. I'm seeing a lot of comments. I'm seeing every one of you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We really, really do appreciate all your time. We appreciate all your comments and everything that you've been doing in Tim-Osa Media. So we want to call it a day tonight. But media team, please keep that question, because that's where we are going to start from when we're having the Season 2 of this particular topic. So I want to say thank you to each and everyone. Thank you for always finding time to join us. We love you, and we hope to see you again next time, which is next month. The flyers will be out before you know it, before the end of the month. The flyers for the July will be out. And trust me, it's going to be amazing, amazing, amazing. We promise to always bring you the best of the best. In fact, you heard from the last speaker, he became the second best in the world. So that tells you can do anything that you put your mind to do. Anything at all. Anything. I've once failed. and I'm happy that I failed. But today, I'm glad at where God has taken me to. Always put God at the boat of your life. Always allow God take the lead. Don't lead God. Let Him take the lead. And trust me, the sky will not just be your limit. The sky will be your starting point. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for everything. We hope to see you again next time on this same channel. Thank you, and you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week ahead. Bye-bye.